Hey, this is Susie Nelson, and I want to welcome you to this webinar. I wanted to share some strategies for holiday sales that have really been successful for me with my businesses. And I just wanted to share the ideas in hopes that you have some tremendous sales for the holiday, but also that it really sets you up for an incredible 2014 because it can do all of those things. So I just want to dive in and share these strategies. First of all, let me tell you why I'm offering this complimentary webinar. Do you know, it has been such a fun year for me and my business. Earlier this year, I made the decision to really give my full-time efforts to my own coaching and training and business strategy business. And so it's been such a blast. And of course, when you do those kinds of things, you learn a lot, you make some mistakes, and certainly learn from those mistakes, but you stay focused and you keep building. And I'm so excited to share that things are going extremely well with my business. So thank you all for that, because when I made the decision that I wanted to go to the next level, for me that was helping consultants from lots of different companies be as successful as they want to be. And they deserve it. And it's so much fun to work with people who are the best of the best in their businesses. I have some private coaching students. I have a group of students that are in some special live training seminars. And I also have some wonderful people who are in my training club. That's my Business Builder Club. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it a ton. And we're launching this new program, and so I wanted you to get a feeling for what the kind of information that people will receive when they're part of that program through the webinars. And at the end of this webinar, I want to ask for some help on something. So thank you for being here today or for watching the replay, and thanks for helping me out with what I share at the end. All right, so excuse me. You really want to think about what you're doing for your holiday sales and think about it as a strategy. And think about how this strategy can help your business. Don't just throw something out there to get some quick sales. Think about how you can position yourself with a strategy that's going to achieve specific goals for your business. Smart holiday strategies can produce some fast cash, and I'm going to give you a couple examples. It can be a tremendous vehicle for moving out past inventory. So, if you have some samples from previous catalogs, or if you have some things that were returned to you by customers and you never turned them back into the company, or if you maybe earn some different samples and things that are no longer relevant because you can't sell them anymore. It's a great way to move those things out and recover some cash. It's also a tremendous way to get your business revved up for the coming year. All right, so let's dig in. First of all, I want you to plan your strategy. Get your calendar out, put all your family events, put everything else that you need to plan around, and plan your strategy. I am sure that you have some great ideas from your company and your company's leaders and your upline and all those kinds of things. So hopefully you've been implementing some of those ideas, and that's the key word, implement. If you plan these things out but you don't implement them well, they're not going to succeed. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what's coming up on Friday, Black Friday. And this can be a tremendous sales day for your business too, okay? So let me tell you what I did with my business that was awesome. My goal was to sell off a whole bunch of samples that I had in my closet, okay? And I took really good care of my samples. Remember, I sold clothing. So I took great care of my samples, but I wanted to move those out, right? Because when you have those things sitting in your closet, it's like your cash sitting there in the closet. Now, I paid 40% off when I purchased samples. That's what my company sold them to me for, 40% off. Well, you know what? I wasn't so worried about recovering that full price. I just wanted to move them out and recover some of that money. Because if they're sitting in the closet, they're not doing anything. So I ran a sale and I was offering 50% off on my samples. And for anyone who created a three-piece outfit, they got an extra 10% off that price. So they were getting a great deal on samples, and they were like new. So this was like getting new clothing. And I didn't care what they did to make a three-piece outfit. I mean, they didn't have to be colors that match. They didn't have to be pieces. Really, it was just basically get three pieces and you'll get an additional 10% off. I also offered 10% off any new purchases that day. But remember, my overall goal was to move out the samples, which I said was cash sitting on my shelves. So here's what I did to implement this extremely well. You know, these days there's such a tendency to just want to set it up as a Facebook group or post it on your Facebook page. Keep in mind, there's no guarantee when you do that the people will actually see your information. They might not log into Facebook, or if you're just posting, they might not actually scroll down and see your post if you didn't post at a time when they were on Facebook. Or if you've set it up as an event, well, maybe they don't open up the event box. So as much as I know that you're thinking, oh, I could do this and post it on Facebook, I really want to encourage you to actually mail people a flyer. It's going to come in their mailbox. They'll have it right along with what do people look through like crazy to figure out their strategy for Black Friday? They look through what comes in their newspaper. They can put your flyer right along with what they have pulled out from the newspaper, and they can have you as part of their plan for Black Friday. Now, I ran my sale, and get this, note these times. I ran my sale from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. So, yep, I was up there with the early birds because I knew, a lot of stores open at 5 a.m. In fact, these days, of course, we know they open at midnight or even open earlier on Thanksgiving. But I was going to be ready for them to shop right after they finished with their mad dashes to get the early, first through the door sales at Best Buy and who knows wherever else they were shopping. I also included in my mailing a free sash coupon. Now, in our business, we had sashes that you used like belts. And so I also wanted to have another reason for them to come in addition to the bargains. Everybody who was going to come, they got to have a free sash, and that was, a value of like $7.50. I think they used to breed in my closet because I had sashes all over the place. So everybody got a free sash. And guess what? If they came early, I had continental breakfast ready for them. So I wanted them to come, relax, enjoy a bagel or donut and some juice and coffee, and of course then dig in and do their shopping. Now, I had 5 people, excuse me, who showed up at 7 a.m. They were there anxious to shop, anxious to scoop up my bargains, just as much as they were anxious to scoop up the bargains from anybody else, any other store that they went to. During the time frame of my sale, I had approximately 25 people who came, and I did mail out about 200 flyers. Okay, so my cost to mail those flyers these days would be about $100. So I did have that expense. But I had about 25 people come through during my time frame that I was open for the sale. I sold approximately $1,800 in samples that day. Now, remember, that was money I had already paid out. I didn't have to turn around and order any inventory. Yes, it was at a bargain rate, but $1,800 in my pocket based on samples that were sitting in my closet. I mean, I think that was a tremendous result. I also got about $300 in new orders that day. So, of course, I turned around and promptly placed those orders so that they got their things in time for Christmas. And I booked 3 parties for January, February. It was an incredible event. Think of that cash coming back into my pocket. I loved it. So I really want you to think about how you can be strategic on Black Friday and how you can make it work for you and your business. All right, now I'm sure some of you have talked about Christmas. Most companies tell you a cutoff date for when you have to have orders placed in order to receive them in time for Christmas. But the thing is that you don't have to stop selling just because your company has a cutoff date, right? You can surely, continue to sell. You just have to manage how you deal with that with your customers. In other words, you might need to say, you know what, there's a strong possibility we aren't going to get this in time for Christmas. But what I can do for you is I can get you a picture of what you're ordering. And you can use that, if you're giving this as a gift, you can use that and wrap it up in a little box to show someone what's on its way for them. So certainly don't think that just because your company has a cutoff date that you can't keep selling. And what I want to say is, you're in business just like every other retailer. Do those other stores close up shop just because, they just because they know it's getting close to Christmas? It's like, no, that's when they even offer more bargains and offer more deals. So think about ways that you could choose different products. I like to do a 12 days of Christmas, and what I do is I take the 24th and I count out, so technically it's going to be starting on December 12th. And I'm going to choose a different product each day that I'm going to highlight and offer some sort of discount. Now, remember, you don't want to give away the store. You want to have this, still profit you. That's the whole deal. You're in business to make money. But you want to dangle some carrots so that people do want to make those purchases. If you've got a Facebook page, these are fun to run as daily events. Put a great description, maybe have some testimonials from customers who've already purchased those things. You can even offer some other fun events and contests. Maybe you're going to give something away and engage your people on Facebook. So keep in mind there's lots of ways that you can have a fun with this. So plan out a strategy of what you want to do each of those days, the 12 days of Christmas, and capitalize on the fact that lots of other consultants aren't going to be doing anything. Now, we talked about making it clear that these items won't arrive before Christmas. I talked about doing some drawings for extra gifts, make it a lot of fun. So that's a strategy that you can use to stay in business right up to Christmas, right? All right, so then the week between Christmas and New Year's. Well, what's happening in the stores during those time frames? They're offering after Christmas sales, am I right? So I want you to keep in mind that there's absolutely no reason you can't be having tremendous sales the week between Christmas and New Year's. People are ready to buy. Maybe they got a Christmas gift that they returned because it just wasn't a great match for them. Or maybe they got money for Christmas and they want to spend it on something they love. Never assume people don't have money to spend between Christmas and New Year's. Okay, it's a great time for some incredible sales. During that time frame, my strategic goal is that I want to create some sales. I want my customers to know how much I appreciate them. But more importantly, I want to make sure that I have a full calendar of bookings for January and February. And this is the time when people start thinking about their New Year's resolutions. Am I right? So I want to be planting seeds and scheduling appointments to talk to a lot of my customers and hostesses about my business opportunity. Even if they weren't interested to learn more about it in the past, that might have changed, and I want to revisit that. So here's what I recommend that you do, and we've got some proven results on this. Send all of your customers and hostesses, again, I recommend you do this in the mail, a nice thank you letter. Thank them for being part of your business and for supporting your business over the past year. And in that, you want to include, say, a $10 gift certificate. You want this to be enough money that they really feel appreciated and they're going to want to cash it in. Okay. Now, I know when I've recommended this to consultants, some of them have been a little nervous about it, but when they have implemented it, and again, the key thing here is implemented, what I'm going to tell you need to do, they made so much money in sales that $10 gift certificate was a no-brainer. In fact, they probably had just a handful of people who spent it on something under $10. The rest all invested that into high ticket item, purchases, and it was very productive. Now remember, you make this gift certificate expire December 31st, and you're going to mail your flyer to your customers and hostesses right about December 24th, because you want them to receive it the day after Christmas, December 26th, okay? Again, this is strategic. So here's the most important part. You're going to want to call every single customer. So you'll want to schedule time to call these people up. I mean, don't just sit at home on the couch thinking they're going to all call you, because they're all busy, right? Kids are off school. I mean, they might be traveling. They might have relatives in town. So they're all busy. So you are the person who has to initiate the calls. And what's important on these calls is to use what I call my ultimate customer service call script. Now let me tell you how this flows, and I really recommend that you map out a script, but then then weed it down to bullet points and have that in front of you so that you cover these important points with every single person that you talk to. So basically, you'll want to thank them for their business. Hi, Rosemary, this is, Susie with XYZ Company. Have you got just a couple minutes? Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Rosemary, for everything you've done to be a great customer and hostess in the past year. So thank you so much for that. I'm kind of curious, Rosemary, last time we talked, you were talking about adopting a dog, right? So this is the connect part. You'll use your notes that you've kept on your receipts to connect with Rosemary and say, what's happening in your life, and show Rosemary you care about her and that you remembered things about her. Well, Rosemary, I wanted to check in to see how you're enjoying, the bag and the necklace and the pants that you purchased, back a few months ago. So get an update on how she's enjoying her product, because that she has probably absolutely loved it. If she hasn't loved it, you want to take care of that. You don't want an unhappy customer hanging out there. But so get her, feedback on how she's enjoyed these things. Then you're going to move it to your gift certificate. Rosemary, did you get that special $10 gift certificate that I mailed off to you? And if she didn't get it, say, you know what, Rosemary, it's okay. I'm going to honor it anyway, or it's probably going to be in today's mail, but that's okay. I'll honor it anyway. So then, Rosemary, I wanted to check in and see, how you'd like to spend that gift certificate. Recommend at least 3 items, especially if it's things that are going to go inactive. And if she wants to place an order for some different things, of course you'll say, okay, I've got that down. Anything else? Anything else you want to add to that? Figure it out, subtract off her $10 gift certificate, and then collect her payment. Okay? Now, Rosemary, you might not be aware, but January and February are fantastic times to host a show. Tell her the reasons why. Maybe you know what your company's January host reward is going to be if it puts out special rewards. Maybe your company's running some special, deal, or maybe you have a new catalog coming out. You should know that information so you can explain to your potential hostess why this is a great time to host. And then you want to ask for that booking. So knowing we've got all that going on, Rosemary, how would you feel about booking a show? Or how would you feel about working with me on hosting a show? Or how would you feel about earning a whole bunch more free products by hosting a show? So ask that open-ended question. She might have a couple little speed bumps that you've got to deal with. That's not in this part of the course. We cover that in booking courses. But cover that detail, and then of course set the date. Then you'll want to set up a time to do hostess coaching. Explain that you want to pop her host packet in the mail and set up a time so that you can go through that packet and start your hostess coaching. But then The key thing, and this is how you start to really fill your calendar to talk with prospects. Rosemary, you might think I'm crazy for asking, but have you ever thought about taking a closer look at the information about our business? It's not for everybody, and you might hear the info and decide it's not the right match for you, and that's okay. But Rosemary, I'd hate to see you make that kind of decision without getting all of the information. Why don't we get together for coffee? It'll only take about half an hour and it'd be so much fun to see you again. And I promise there'll be absolutely no pressure, just great information. If you like what you see and you're over the top with excitement, you might want to jump on board and start your business immediately. If not, no problem. Like I said, absolutely no pressure. So go ahead and then set the date to get together with her to go through the information about the business. In fact, if you get that date set up within, a very short time frame, you could just deliver her hostess packet and go through that information right there. All right, so it's a very planned out call, right? I've given her a gift. I've given her that gift certificate. And there's a very psychological thing that is attached to that. It's called the rule of reciprocity. And it's the whole idea that when somebody gives you something, you feel obligated to give back a little bit. And so with you giving her that gift certificate, it's going to open her up to wanting to place an order or wanting to book that party or being willing to hear more about the business. So go through your script, make out a script, and then whittle it down to bullet points, and then be prepared and schedule time to make those calls. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to get a lot of voicemails. Don't be afraid of that. What I really recommend you do is ahead of time that you plan out what you're going to leave as a message, especially pointing out that they should have received or will receive in the mail today this great gift certificate from you, and you wanted to just follow up and see how they'd like to spend it. So, definitely be prepared in advance so that you can do a great job with those calls. So before I tell you where I need a little bit of help from you guys, let me open it up for questions. If you've got a question, go ahead and type it into the box at the bottom. And let me answer any questions, or if you have something that has worked great for you for holiday sales that you want to share, feel free to do that. I can even unmute you. So go ahead and type in any questions you might have. Okay, a question on the $10 gift certificates. This person's asking, do you have any concern that everybody will just spend $10 and it will be a big expense out of your pocket? Do you know what? We have, and I'm so glad you reminded me to share because I didn't have it on a slide. We have tested this, and I've had several consultants use this strategy. And like I said, they had a handful of people who just spent $10 or even less than $10 and just, got something for free. And that was okay. But as an example, one of my top consultants who went on to become a manager, an offspring leader out of my organization, now she really implemented this well. She did exactly what I have described for you to do. And she sold over $3,000 of product between Christmas and New Year's. Now, she spent a ton of time on the phone. I mean, she scheduled time every single day and she pumped that phone. But I'm going to tell you, it paid off so huge. From that $3,000, yes, you got to figure 300 of it was, gift certificates, but she still made about, I'm guessing about $800 in net profits that week just from pumping the phone. And what's more important was she completely filled her January and February calendar with bookings. And she talked with several prospects about the business in the coming weeks and was ready to go into qualification. If I remember right, she went into qualification March 1st. So it can just be a huge, tremendous strategy for you to really connect with people and give them that gift and make them feel appreciated, and then move it into bookings and taking a look at the business. Okay. So any other questions that you have on this information? Okay. All right, so I want to tell you about a program that I'm launching in my company, and our first issue comes out actually the first week of December, so I'm very excited about it. But it's what we're calling our Social Selling Wealth Club. There is so much out there. I do tons of training myself on the basic skills of our company, of building a social selling business, of course, which is how to get bookings, how to sponsor consultants, how to network, how to hostess coach, and how to connect with prospects, right? So those basic skills. But there's a lot more to building wealth using your social selling business as the vehicle than just learning the skills of the business. And so we wanted to create a publication that goes beyond just training of the basic skills. And so we've set this up. It's called the Social Selling Wealth Club. We're doing a monthly print newsletter plus a webinar that addresses all kinds of different topics. Today is a little snippet giving you an example of the kinds of training that's involved with that. Now, I know some of you on the webinar today are in my Business Builders Club or Leap Year coaching programs. And so don't worry, this is part of those programs. That's just another membership benefit for you. But for those who want to take advantage of that kind of additional training and mentoring and want to get the kind of information that's going to be included in this, especially the print newsletter, we'll be telling people about the success stories. There's nothing more inspirational than hearing somebody's success story. And we're going to be sharing money tips because, a lot of times what holds people back the most is their relationship with money. And we're going to be discussing those things and a whole bunch more. So anyway, let me tell you where I need your help today if you're willing to take a couple minutes. We're looking for topic ideas that you would find to be extremely helpful. Okay, and so if you don't mind taking a minute and going to the socialsellingwealthclub.com, and if you go to that website and click on topic suggestions, you can fill out a form there, and we would just love your feedback and your ideas on what would really be helpful for you as you continue to build your empire in your own social selling club or social selling company. So if you don't mind taking a minute for that, I would appreciate your help. If not, if you don't have any other questions, I really want to wish you the very best for the holidays and thank you for being part of my business, and watch for all kinds of exciting things in 2014. All right? Oh, hang on a second. There is a question. Could you show the script that starts with, "You might think I'm crazy for asking. I wasn't able to write it all down." Do you know what, Adrian? This will be up as a replay, and you'll be able to just pause the replay. So I'll just let you do that, and we're going to try to get it posted here in just the next few minutes. Okay? Thanks. You're welcome. All right. So again, if you just go to socialsellingwealthclub.com, I'd appreciate your help on that. And again, thank you and have a terrific holiday. Happy Thanksgiving.